This is starting to become my favorite day of the week, Thursdays, because we get to knock out the podcast. Welcome back, guys, for episode number 3, where we talk a whole lot about sports and a lot about nothing.
I love this day. It's starting to be really fun.
Yeah.
We're starting to get it. We're getting it together, man. Just like the Astros and the Rangers are going to be playing each other in the ALCS. Is all Texas and the ALCS. I know everyone's stoked about that because the Cowboys, buddy.
That means break out your cowboy hats and your boots. Yeah, the Cowboys.
They laid an egg.
Well, we're gonna get to all of that, but let's just roll right into pleasantries. The hometown team, Jaguars, man. You were really insistent on picking the Jags.
I had the Jags.
You were right.
I don't know why Buffalo decided to go over to London on Friday.
That's the only problem everybody has is that
doesn't make any sense.
You come in, you're jet lagged, you're not going to play your best.
Yeah, you got to get time to get acclimated. They should have been headed right over there after the last game.
I'll tell you this much, Josh Allen, quarterback, had every right to be afraid of Josh Allen, the defensive end.
Josh Allen. Man, how about them roughing the passer call?
That was such a bad call.
Before we get into this Jags game, I also want to talk about this. This is annoying me over the course of the span, is they're calling the game so tight when it comes to roughing the passer. I think, and with all the technology we have, I'm a big fan of, no challenging of penalties and the most penalties. But when it comes to roughing the passer, I think it's something that should be looked at from upstairs. As soon as it happens, they should have someone looking at it and saying, guys, that's not roughing the passer.
Yeah, do like these major sports outlets get in-house version of Gene Steratore.
100%.
Bring him in, let him look at it.
I mean, we get Gene Steratore right out of the gate. There ain't no way for Gene
he's sitting in the studio with the suit on. He's like, well, what we're looking at here, that's what I want. I want somebody to look at it, take the time. It doesn't matter. Well, I think in the offseason when they looked at it, the only problem that they had is that they said it would make games too long, which is why they took away reviewing pass interference.
Right. Well, I don't think but that's my point. So, now they've gotten to this point where they're doing reviews, and the reviews are called down immediately, and they say, hey, guys, incomplete pass, boom, ball's on here, da-da-da, and it's that quick. So my point is no, I don't think every penalty should be reviewed, but the quarterback is more likely to get a flag when there shouldn't be a flag.
And a lot of games were decided on those bad calls. It's
just I saw Josh Allen made a sack on Josh Allen. And
crucial play.
It was, but it was pretty much in hand. But the Jags need to still get a first down when they got the ball back. But it's gotten to the point where I watched him get hit and he's pointing at his head like he got tapped in the head. Come on, man.
And you can see Doug Peterson lose his mind. So we're gonna get to all of that. There was a really bad call made in the Vikings game as well. But we're going to get to all of that, I promise. The point is that the Jaguars did it. The hometown team did.
I keep telling you, buddy, I've been saying it for 2 weeks. Everyone relax. This team is about to get rolling, and the offense, you're starting to see it click.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley, Trevor Lawrence, and he had a video.
ETN was doing it.
He's always going to do it. I don't think he's ever
Christian Kirk is doing it.
I don't think he's ever off.
It just seems to me they're starting to gel. And they're starting to gel, and on top of the starting to gel, the defense is playing some drastically good football. They're getting pressure. They're making plays. They're out there flying around. I love what the Jags are doing, man. And everyone should be starting to worry about those Jags. I still think they're going to be one of the top teams in this AFC.
And we'll put their game in our 5 games of the week to pick.
Always.
Obviously, they're going to be taking on Indy without Anthony Richardson.
Oh, Garner's back, baby.
Yeah,
welcome back to Shoe.
Yeah, I don't.
Welcome back to Shoe. You might see some Jags still dressed in Garner costumes. I love that guy.
I welcome him back, but I don't know if he'll be welcomed back by that Jags defense.
The Shoe is back in Jags.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. I just don't know how
I bet you'll see some Jag fans in some Shoe material.
All right, let's roll into our picks of the week. Who do we have this week?
Well, let's recap what we did last week. How about that?
Okay.
I would like to start with me picking Commanders and saying it would be a great day to be a Commanders fan. Oh, boy. It was a great day to be a Bears fan. DJ Moore fan, if you had that guy.
And I still, really quick remark, I had DJ Moore in fantasy and still lost this week.
That doesn't say a whole lot about your team.
Well, not only was my team mediocre besides him, the guy that I played had Zach Moss and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's coming back, signs an extension, and all of a sudden now Zach Moss just becomes 30 carries.
Insane.
Yeah, no big deal.
Insane.
Of course, it always makes sense.
But you did have Washington. We had Washington. The world had Washington.
Yeah, Sam Howell's tough as nails, though. Can I just say that?
He is. He's a tough kid.
Dude is. I love that guy. I think he's going to be very good.
I don't really know.
Stands in the pocket, makes good throws. Very, very big fan.
But I don't know where it went wrong. I don't know what exactly happened. Like, I watched the game in its entirety. I watched all of it.
It's like, it's Fields made a couple good throws in crucial moments. It just didn't seem like the Commanders were, like, there. I mean, they were getting blown out in the first half. There was penalties. They had flags. They were giving up sacks.
And they couldn't get anything going, and the Bears' defense kind of had that momentum. Like I said, I was right in saying that the team had nothing to lose. So, like, when they got the ball rolling, when they had that momentum, when Fields looked good and they realized they had a shot to win the game, they turned it on.
They had some motivation, too.
Dick Butkus died.
Dick Butkus. Very sad story. Gotta love you. Dick Butkus.
Yeah, one of the greatest linebackers to ever live.
Stud. Rest in peace, Dick.
So,
that didn't sound right. Rest in peace, Dick Butkus.
I'm taking that. We're gonna make a nice small clip of that. So, you know.
I can look for that on the reels, boys and girls.
So recapping the picks for the week, we had Washington over the Bears.
Did have that.
You chose Jacksonville over the Bills. I said the Bills would win that game, but you were right.
That trip over the pond, man.
Then
can't
Vikings,
wait till Friday.
Chiefs. You took the Chiefs. I took my Vikings.
Take your Vikings. I did take the Raiders to beat the Packers, and you know how I feel about that. I got the Raiders right. I mean, I thought they'd find a way to win. They found it. The defense found a way to win with the Raiders. And Josh McDaniels sticks around some more. La, 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 la.
Eagles, Rams. You took
Jimmy
the Eagles.
G, I hope you are trying to throw the ball over 10 yards in practice. You were 0 for 3 with a pick going 10 yards down the field.
Okay. He's got to pick up the short game.
But the short game's strong. Short game's strong.
Short game's strong. So we had the Eagles over the Rams, and I think you took Pittsburgh over Baltimore.
I think I took Baltimore because I thought Kenny was going to be out, but he ended up playing. Tough kid. He was supposed to be out.
It helps when your defense has a guy named T.J. Watt on it.
TJ. I mean, he's a top 3 pass rusher in this league. My top 3 pass rushers, I'll get him top 5 because I like a lot of them, but I think Micah Parsons, I think T.J. Watt, I think Max Crosby, I think actually Josh Allen's starting to come into that conversation as well. I mean, these guys are monsters.
You can't have a top 5 without Aaron Donald. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he's not an end. He's not an edge rusher. He's a deep
you
tackle.
mean edge rushers?
Edge rushers.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Aaron Donald's different. He's different. He's a rusher inside. Like, you don't find those every day.
So for the picks of the week, I think you dropped one game.
I dropped 2. I think I'm 11-2 now.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
All right, let's roll into this week. Let's see what we're looking at this week.
Yeah, man. Well,
who are we picking?
Before we pick it, we got something brewing here. What we got?
So for the games, which I'm just going to take a quick peek at, we might as well start with the Jacksonville Indy game.
Absolutely.
The one important part about that game is Anthony Richardson isn't playing. Young rookie quarterback has been playing very well.
He has. They've called good games for him, and that's an important thing. Like he's not having him chuck the ball down the field. He's calling run plays, safe plays for him. But when you're a running quarterback, you always have the injury aspect.
You absolutely
and
do.
All of a sudden, now he's hurt.
He's hurt.
I thought he broke his collarbone the way I saw it. He went down. He couldn't even move.
Yeah,
he was holding it like this. They might be downplaying it. I'm not sure. But they say 4 to 8 weeks. I'm leaning more towards the 8 weeks the way he was holding that thing. It says AC joint sprain. Carr was back in less than a week. This guy's, they're telling me 4 to 8 weeks. I don't think it's more than a sprain. That's my opinion. I think you might hear more. He might not come back this year. It didn't look good.
You were looking at a quarterback that faced a lot of scrutiny in the draft.
100%.
A lot of people criticized Indy for taking him so high. At 4, I believe. They said, hey, can this guy get it done? He has a lot of intangibles. He has a big arm. But he didn't start that many games for Florida. The film doesn't look great.
He's very inconsistent. He has a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, he has a lot of good attributes, but he just has inconsistent throwing.
And that's what all Florida fans said. Coming into the draft, asking where he should go, all Florida fans said, look at the film. The film doesn't lie.
Well, his ceiling is
through the
roof.
It's absolutely insane.
But his floor is below Jamarcus Russell. Yeah. I don't know if it's that low. But
so far, he's played up to the hype.
I think once again, Shane Steichen is he coached Jalen Hurts. He was offensive coordinator for Jalen Hurts. He understands that Hurts is probably the same kind of player as Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
The only difference that I see is Anthony Richardson needs to get down.
Yeah, he's gonna have to learn to get down.
Hurts is very smart when it comes to that. Hurts, like, he slides when he needs to and all that. And Shane Steichen needs to tell Richardson, this is not college. You will get hurt.
Get down. You're gonna get hurt.
These guys are big. They're fast. They're strong.
To have so many accolades and to talk so nice about him, the Indianapolis Colts will not have him this week. They're going to go with Gardner Minshew starting at quarterback. So
the shoe, babe. I don't care. I know people are going to say things, but the Jags loved the shoe when he was here.
They did. The mustaches.
It wasn't his fault that he left the Jags. Like, he wasn't trying to get out of the Jags. Like,
it was business.
I think he's going to get He's going to get
business.
around the applause. I mean, I love it. I think he's going to get around the applause. I think the Jags fans are going to like seeing him. They're going to want to beat him. Don't get me wrong. They want to win. Jags fans want to win, but they will be. They don't want to see the shoe just get throttled. You know, they want to see him play, and he's actually been playing very well when he's been in the game.
He came into the game and he tried to get them back in it.
His completion percentage is out the roof. I mean, the dude he's playing football.
He's one of those.
I would rather have him and Jimmy G. I'd take Gardner over Jimmy G.
There was a lot of hate in that statement. For Jimmy G.
There is a lot of hate. Now, I haven't liked the guy since the beginning of time.
I don't feel like you like him
once
too much.
Once again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. If the 49ers are willing to trade 3 first-round picks to get rid of you, you aren't good.
That's fair.
And you went to the NFC Championship. They know you can't win.
Well, with Gardner Minshew starting at quarterback against these Jaguars, who seem to have it all figured out going forward,
it seems like they went to London and they all connected.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were going out in London and just having it, but it all looked together in London. So both games looked together. They looked clean. I loved it.
We're gonna take Jaguars.
I think the Jaguars coming back home seem to have took the step that I wanted them to take early, and they're going to win this football game.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna take Indy first up for our picks of the week. Indy is the way to not go. We're going to take the Jaguars, going into the next game. We'll go with my team, the Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears. It seems as if coming into this week, you would hope the Vikings would have it together.
You're a Vikings fan.
That's the only reason it's there. That's the only reason it's there, and that's the only every week there's going to be a Vikings game. Unfortunately, it's just the way it has to be. But last week, obviously, with the pass interference flag being picked up off the field in a crucial down. Not only that, the defender, Mr. Snead, took his helmet off. Took it off. Couldn't believe it. There was no flag thrown at all. There was no 15-yard penalty enforced. And for that, we lost the game. Would Kirk Cousins be able to drive down the field without Justin Jefferson to get the job done? We don't know. But we weren't able to see if that could happen, because that play or that call wasn't made. But this week, we're in Soldier Field, and as always, I'm rolling with the Vikings.
I mean, I'm going to take the Vikings, too. Like, they're not getting blown out of football games. They're in every single game. They just can't seem to get over the hump to win it like they did last year in all those close games. It seems like it's going the complete opposite this year that it did last year.
And it hurts. It hurts when you're a fan. It hurts because you add in Brian Flores in the equation, a defensive-minded coach, somebody who is really, really good.
I love Brian Flores. I wish he was our head coach, honestly.
The guy's blitzing at, I think, 58% right now. I mean, it's insane. The defensive fronts that he gives quarterbacks puts them on their toes. Yeah, Justin Jefferson in a contract year, Kirk Cousins coming out. You were thinking he was going to have a career year as well. You didn't want to see Dalvin Cook go. All of these things seemed like, man, maybe we can get 11, 12 wins. I don't feel that well anymore about getting 9 wins. So I'm going to take my Vikings, but be cautious.
I think the Vikings are going to win. I mean, I think maybe this is a Jordan Addison coming out party. Like, I think Hawkinson needs to step up a little bit more, but they're better than the Bears. They're just a better football team than the Bears. It's a division game, but they are better than the Bears. I'll take the Vikings also.
We're going to take the Vikings there. Next game up, we're going to roll with your team, and then we're going to have a really good game. I can't say that game's going to be good, Tyler. The Raiders and the New England Patriots.
I saw the over-under in this game. It was 41.5. I thought it was a misprint. Like, there's no way.
There won't be 30 points put up in that game.
How can it be 41.5? These guys can't. Jimmy G, first of all, can't throw the ball past 10 yards. I mean, he literally can't do it. It's embarrassing. And the fact that we don't get Michael Mayer the ball any more than we do,
you don't.
The dude's a monster. When if you got that guy open and you get out in front and you just find Michael Mayer, he is going to make plays. He's got, like, he looks like Kelsey. I'm not saying he is Travis Kelce. I'm saying he looks like
he could be as effective.
He can be effective using the tight end more. And we threw the ball at Adams 5 times.
There's no way.
All right, we threw the ball 20 times, and then we threw it to him 5.
There's no way your wide receiver 1 should be getting 5 targets.
I mean, I completely agree. Like, we have got to find a way to throw the ball down the field. Whether that's Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, but if you're throwing the ball down the field,
we got to get Adams the ball.
What were those stats?
He was 0 for 3.
So do you really want to throw the ball down the field?
I'm saying we have to figure out a way to get the ball down the field.
You got to get a new quarterback.
And
that's the only way.
If it's Aiden O'Connell, then Aiden O'Connell, put him in. He didn't play bad against the Chargers.
Do you want to do that?
I do. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this guy.
I'm done.
I've seen it. The Niners have seen it. Everyone has seen it. No one wanted to trade for him. No one wanted him. Why do we want him?
Let's be real though. Are you really ready to give up on Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes, I've been giving up on Jimmy Garoppolo forever. I've given up on him when he was with the Niners. The dude's a bum.
How much money are the Raiders on the line with him?
Oh, we can get rid of him for peanuts.
Oh, well then yeah.
I mean,
throw the Aiden kid in. Hope you have a good year. If not, once again,
my buddy just
you're going to have quarterbacks.
I'd probably trade for Brock Purdy and not Jimmy G. Buddy, give me Purdy for all the money right now. All the money.
Once again, though, a lot of people are, last week I said it. I think Kyle Shanahan does a great job with quarterbers. I just want to say this. I think as well, Brock Purdy is. I think Brock Purdy is good,
he was throwing dimes to Kittle. George Kittle, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and they were dimes.
And he's humble. He understands the situation he's in. Everyone, not to say he's not talented, everyone around him is talented.
Of course. He knows what he got to do.
And he knows where he is.
He also can stretch the field, which is something that Jimmy Garoppolo could never do for the 49ers. Ever.
He puts the ball downfield, too.
Oh, he puts the ball downfield in the other team's hands. He loves that.
Yeah. So,
but Raiders, Patriots, the Patriots can't score. Mac Jones might be the worst quarterback in the NFL. That team is terrible. Give me the Raiders 12-9.
It's a real bad score.
It's a bad score, but it's probably going to happen.
I won't be watching that game.
12-9. I'll be watching it. I'm not going to be happy about it.
I'm interested. I'm only going to say this because week in and week out, Bill Belichick keeps Mac Jones at quarterback 1.
I don't know why.
But he benches him halfway through the game.
Why not just start with Zappy?
That's the only thing, right? So who you're going to get this week? There's no telling. Who knows? But we're going to take the Raiders. 12-9 seems about right.
My buddy just said Mick trash, and he ain't wrong. I'm tired of seeing that clown, that arrogant idiot on the sidelines. Every time I see him, I want to punch him.
Okay, so a game that, once again, it's not, first of all, the game that's up next is the Philly and the Jets. I'm not a Philly hater.
Why are we picking the Philly and the Jets? We're taking Philly?
No.
Who's taking the Jets?
I am.
Oh, boy.
I am.
Oh, boy. You take the Vikings and the Jets? I don't know what's going on with
It's all on me right now. And the reason why.
I want to hear this.
I'm not, first of all, I'm not a Philly hater. I'm not. I promise. I don't sip the Philly
hater.
It's not it. That's not it. They're 4-5-0. It's fine. I just don't think what you told me before we started the show, which we'll get into about the disparity between the record of teams the Miami Dolphins have beat, how the record of the opponents they beat have been bad. The same can be said about the Eagles.
I'm not disagreeing with you. The Eagles have already done it.
They have, but I think that defense, I know I picked the Rams last week, and I know I fell flat on my face. I know what happened.
I said the Rams would give them a game. They did.
I want Zach Wilson to do something nice. I need him to do something nice. And I think the Jets' defense have put every quarterback they've played on notice.
I showed the Patriots some love. Sorry. I showed the Patriots some love. I gave them 12-9. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, you gave them points, and they don't get those. So you showed them a lot of love. You showed them a lot of love.
They didn't score yet.
But I think the Jets' defense is very good. They've put quarterbacks on notice. That Kansas City game, crucial, controversial defensive holding.
They did play good.
That's the defensive holding call is what screwed everything up.
It was very controversial.
They win that game.
I thought it was holding, but
did you?
Did
you really?
I don't think it should have been called in this situation.
That's the only thing. Even if it is, and like Sauce Gardner said, you haven't been calling it all game.
Let's talk refs at this moment. I don't care how you call a football game, but you have to be consistent doing it, and that's what you have to know.
Which is what we started.
You have to be consistent calling. If you call holding at the beginning that way, then you better call holding later in the game that way.
Yep, and that's where they came.
That's where
they came under scrutiny about is that they weren't consistent with their calls.
Consistent calls is all you ask for in the league. Everybody's different.
Jets over Philly.
Well, I'm taking Philly.
3-point game.
3-point game. I'll tell you what. If Zach Wilson beats Philly, buddy, I'll buy you dinner next week. I'll put it right here for you so everybody can see it. A little steak just steaming.
Really?
Yeah, I'll buy you a steak if the Jets beat
once again, I must say, I'm not a Philly hater at all. I
really can't afford a steak right now, so they better know.
I don't think their body of work is indicative of, Super Bowl bound. And I think they have yet to be tested. That's the big point. They have yet to be tested.
They've already done it. So,
they play a lot of close games, and they squeak it out. They squeeze it out. Close game against Washington. Close game against Minnesota. I think once they're tested, I think the Jets defense will test them. The Jets offense is a little suspect. But going down the line, when you look at their schedule, you're like, well, where does the test come in at? 49ers? At the Cowboys? Those are the games you're going to want to look at. Those are the games where you're going to say, man, it's going to be close, but can you do enough?
Not this week, but next week we get Eagles, Dolphins. So we get to see both of those teams against each other. And that should be very intriguing.
Those are the test games I'm talking about.
Tonight's game, don't feel like it's going to be much of a game. We got the Broncos at the Chefs.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to cook them up.
So Russ is cooking. Bronco country. Let's ride into Kansas City and lose.
Yeah, let's lose.
He's riding on a donkey. He ain't riding on no horse.
They won their game last week, didn't they? Broncos?
Broncos didn't win. Broncos never win.
It actually just came out that
they lost to the Jets. Your boys, the Jets.
They did?
They did lose to the Jets.
Oh, Nathaniel Hackett. That's right. Oh.
I love it. Sean Payton thinks that Nathaniel Hackett is the worst coaching job, and he has the worst defense in the league.
You talk all that trash, buddy.
You better.
Here's your reality check.
I think we're seeing the worst coaching job ever.
Well, it actually just came out today that, per sources, whoever they are, what is it, Tom Pelissaro and Shefty, that the Broncos are open and are engaged in trade talks with Jerry Jeudy before the trade deadline.
Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy's got a lot of talent. I just don't think he's ever had any type of situation in Denver. Denver's becoming a nightmare to play for.
And that's what they're doing. They're going to start to offload the pieces. They can't do anything about Russ, but it's not like Russ is playing bad. Russ has thrown 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has a passer rating of 135.6.
But he's been fumbling and taking sacks.
And those are the stats you're not going to see.
And that's why stats. I tell people this all the time. Stats can be inflated because think about it. Like if I'm a team, I'm down 14, and my quarterback is just sitting back there dinking and dunking and taking apart this prevent defense because we're not trying to stop anybody. We're just trying to keep them in bounds. Mm-hmm. Of course your stats are going to get inflated.
Well, stats are the reason we're paying Kirk Cousins over $150 million.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. They did win last week, though. They did win last year. Sorry, not last week.
He's a stat patter, though. That's what he does.
Oh, he does. But that's why you have to watch and you have to see in crucial situations. Like, I'll never forget when Kirk Cousins took a knee against the Eagles when he's supposed to play.
Good Lord. Don't get me upset. Kansas City is a 14.5-point favorite.
No,
it's huge.
Yeah,
it's big.
Kansas City's winning this football game. It's not even close.
This one can't. I
don't know if Kelsey's going to play.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what. If Kelsey doesn't play, fantasy little sleeper of the week, Noah Gray. This guy he's interesting. Check him out. Noah Gray, he's a football player.
With Kansas City games, none of that matter anyways. Taylor Swift going to be there today. That's all that matters.
For the love of God.
That's all that matters.
Watch a concert.
Oh, they confirmed it yesterday. She's going to be there in game. Watch out for her. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters.
Brittany Mahomes mad as hell right now.
all the spotlight's off her. All the spotlight's off her.
Mad.
But
she's the 6th most important person in that booth now.
Denver gets destroyed. I don't think this will come back and bite us like the Washington Bears game. This cannot go the other way.
There's no way the Broncos win.
No shot. I'll give it all up, and I don't even know what I have to give up.
I'll
give
buy
it
2
all
steak
up.
dinners.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And you're not even picking the Broncos.
That's not even going to happen. So let's recap our 5 games, and then we'll go into the
we'll
topics
right
that you
a
have.
couple topics that people like to talk. Yeah,
So first, Indy Jacks. We're going to take Jacksonville.
Jags. We both have Jags.
Minnesota, Chicago. We both have Minnesota.
I have Minnesota.
The Raiders in New England. We're going to take Raiders.
Taking Raiders at home. 12-9.
Sounds good.
12-9.
Philly, New York. I got New York.
I have Philly.
I got New York. I took Philly
This is
last
a pretty
week.
easy week. I mean, there isn't really like a really close matchup that I'm like,
No.
I mean, there'll be an upset somewhere along the line, but I'll tell you a game that does intrigue me is the 49ers and Cleveland Browns.
Did you see what the
very
spread
intriguing.
on that game is?
7.
No.
When did it come down?
The spread on that game is 3.5.
Wow.
I
I saw
look-
it at 7.
Well, it was when I looked at it. That was a few
Is
days
there
ago.
somebody hurt or something?
No, which me and a coworker looked at it, and we were just like, "This doesn't make any sense."
I mean, the Cleveland's defense is really good. I mean, Niners are coming off a huge win against Dallas. Like, maybe it's a letdown spot when you travel to Cleveland. Weird things happen. The city's not very fun.
I believe the Cleveland Browns
know, it's
do
weird.
have the number 1 or 2 defense in the league. I don't know what
They
that
do. They're
translates
playing
to.
defense. They are playing
Like,
defense.
I don't know what a remark like that translates
The
to.
Browns, just by the numbers, the Browns are only giving up 196 yards of offense.
Yeah, no, it's insane. So,
I mean, that is 70 yards better than second.
Vegas always knows, man.
They don't always know. They get them wrong all the time. People just like, did you see that line when it's 1 out of 30?
They win more than they lose. That's why the doors are
Well,
open.
no, let me tell you what, they juice everyone. That's how the doors are open. They never lose. The juices lose.
And then the last game we have, the Kansas City Chiefs, Denver. Kansas City rolling.
Chiefs.
Rolling over the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
So let's go right into your topics. Let's have a nice little talk.
I have a little problem right now with the Miami Dolphins. I think they're very good. I don't think that they're not a good football team. My problem with them is the teams they beat are not good. They're some of the worst, actually. The Broncos have the worst defense in the league. They beat them. They beat them bad. Don't get me wrong. They beat them bad. They played the Chargers week 1. They won 36-33. The Chargers have the second worst defense in the league. Okay? That's 2. They beat the Giants. The Giants are the 27th best defense in the league. So this offense is putting up numbers against teams they should put up numbers against.
Yeah, that's not high. That's not high at all.
They played Buffalo, and they got beat by 28. So when people sit here and they look at these Dolphins, they're just out here doing it. They're crazy good. They're this, they're that. How about we go look at people they beat? They played the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, they should score.
It's essentially the same thing I had to say about Philly, is that when you're tested, like when Miami faces that test, the test came against the Bills, and what happened?
And I picked Buffalo that week. I just
Not to mention, your guy is on the IR now.
What are you talking about?
Octane.
Oh, my boy Octane. Octane 190. That man's averaging 12 yards a carry. That's wild.
I mean,
Octane 190, baby.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's on the IR for 4
Yeah,
weeks.
he's got knee problems. I mean, Mostert's still good. Like Jeff Wilson Jr. is supposed to be back off IR too, so they'll just do a different monster. But I watched the Giants and the Dolphins game, and like the Dolphins were in control of the game. They threw a 100 and some yard pick six, which kind of made the game look close at half when it really wasn't. 17-10. But I watched the Giants, and Tyreek Hill's lined up on the outside, and they're playing cover 0 with the slowest corner on Tyreek Hill. How does that happen?
It was almost
when you're a bad team, that's what bad teams do. He ran right by him.
It was almost.
He literally ran. He said hike, and Tyreek Hill ran by him like he was standing still.
It was almost as bad. The Raiders-Packers game.
Oh, for the love.
They lined up a defensive end, Preston Smith,
Yeah, I remember
on
this.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And Devontae put his foot in
used
the
him, of
ground,
course.
and Preston Smith froze. Like you don't make those kind of matchup errors.
How
but
bad is Octane hurt? Octane is definitely on the IR for 4 weeks. He's got a knee injury, and he is on the IR. So Raheem Mostert's going to take over again.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert will be running back one.
Raheem Mostert, put him in your lineups fancy-wise. He will be RB1. He will be good.
It's in the same thing as apparent over in New York with Saquon Barkley. You're not sure. You don't know if it's real, right? Ever since the NFL Players Association or the NFL filed a grievance, you're like, man, okay, you had an ankle injury. It kept you out a few games. Matt Breida played, and the other guy that they have played. So you don't really know who's going to get that starting job this week.
They keep telling me Saquon's coming back. I haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it yet.
And I'm getting annoyed. Like, I heard he was back this week.
They said he's questionable this week. He's
Yeah,
questionable this week again.
He's got to be back this week. This is the third week they said he's coming back.
Well, I got Matt Breida, baby. So
Matt Breida.
if you don't suit up, Matt Breida's going to take it down.
I mean, anybody on the Giants, you never suit up.
So, I mean, to add on to this discussion about whether Miami is a good team,
they're a good team, but are they great? I don't think they're on that level.
When you face those tests, Buffalo was a test. Philly will be a test, and I think they'll test each other. When you have those kind of tests come into your city or whether you go there, those are the times you have to capitalize in order to be taken seriously in this league, because even though you're a team that's only lost one game, you look at those wins that you have. The Patriots have gotten beaten by 30 points in the last 2 games.
Oh, they can't score.
It's not credible.
They can't score.
Those wins aren't credible. Like, they go in the win column like every other one. There's no asterisk next to it.
Bill Belichick, man, this dude is just I never thought he was that great to begin with, and now he's just proven me right because he don't have Tom Brady.
But you can't take those wins and propel yourself to, man, we're real contenders, because the one time you got tested, you lost by 28 points.
I mean, the only reason I like the Raiders this week against the Patriots in the situation is because we have no Christian Gonzalez and no Matthew Judon on the other side of that ball. And that's why I think the Raiders will probably win, maybe score a touchdown if we're lucky.
And don't get me wrong, the Dolphins have the number 1 passing and rushing offense in the league. I would like to think those stats are kind of inflated because they hung 70 on Denver.
I mean, I of course, no doubt about it. I mean, they're like, oh, this is the greatest offense we've ever seen. Well, they had 700 and some yards in one game. So, I mean, is it the greatest offense we've ever? And they don't get tested this week either because they play the 0-5 Panthers.
They play the Panthers.
So then they're going to be juiced again, and then we are going to have a Dolphins-Philly matchup, and everyone is going to talk about that. Because you're saying the same thing about Philly. They're not playing tough teams. Let's see what they do against each other. But do we still know whoever wins that game? We still know because they're playing each other.
We don't know. I mean,
but once again, you can only play who's on your schedule, and you can only beat who's on your schedule. And they're taking care of business, so for that matter, you can't. I can't argue with that.
So I guess the discussion will continue.
It'll continue until as the season progresses and we see more and more. But like once again, the Dolphins only beat the Patriots by 7. We've seen the Patriots; they're not good. And you can't beat everybody in this league by 50. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I'm saying is like, let's wait and see if we're ready to put the Dolphins in the upper echelon of the teams. And I say the Chiefs, even though they've struggled a little bit, but the Chiefs have always been there.
The Chiefs have always been there.
The Chiefs have always been there.
And the Dolphins are going to go. The Dolphins are a playoff-bound team. They will make the playoffs. But
I don't think they win the division.
Ultimately, every team wants to win the Super Bowl. And I don't
think they win the division. I think it'll be a wild card.
They'll easily win the division. You don't think they'll win the division?
I think Buffalo wins the division. I do 100% think Buffalo wins that division.
All right. A little saucy today. You're a little saucy today.
I'm a little saucy.
I mean, I don't think anyone is opposed to the Bills winning that division, but I think Miami might have something to say about it.
I mean, that was supposed to be like one of the best divisions in football, and now it's just like 2 teams and everybody else stinks.
Yep. And we'll see. Strength of schedule will reveal all the lies.
The NFL's weird. The Pittsburgh's leading their division right now. How weird is that? They look miserable in offense.
They look miserable. And the one, it hurts so bad because their defense is so good.
Matt Canada looked so depressed when Kenny Pickett audibled to a bomb to Pickens and won. He looked so mad that he didn't make that play call.
Because now
Canada, everyone's like, this guy does stink. Our quarterback calls better plays than Matt Canada.
And guess what? Now he's going to have the cojones to make that call again. It's not insubordination. It's just that, hey, man, if I see something on the field, even though I'm still young in this league, I'm going to make that play call again. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I've done it, and I've been right. So this is going to give me all the ammunition to do it again in the future.
Matt Canada reminds me of McDaniels. They both think they're the world's greatest offense coordinator. We're world's worst.
Yeah, he'll be out of there soon. All right, let's roll into the next topic. What you got?
All right. Should the Minnesota Vikings move on from Kirk Cousins now that Jefferson is hurt? And I'm not saying the season is over, but the season is it's looking like it's going the other direction because no Jefferson, and obviously he is their main focal point on offense. Now that Jefferson's on the IR list, now somebody else is going to have to step up, like an Addison or Hawkinson. Or do they just move on from Cousins and be like, let's regroup?
I think the answer has to be yes, and for a few reasons. One of the biggest reasons is losing Justin Jefferson, not just for 4 weeks. Being on the IR is a minimum of 4 weeks. We talked about hamstrings last week.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know how long he's going to be out. We don't know if he'll be incentivized to even want to come back. When you're a team that's 1-4, when you're not going to make the playoffs, when you're literally just trying to figure it out to have something to go into and have a foundation for next year, and you're in a contract year, Justin Jefferson's going to put his feet up on the couch. And I think the Minnesota Vikings have to plan around him. Meaning, listen, guys, we're 1-4. You're a college football guy. There are a lot of cream of the crop quarterbacks coming out of the draft. We could potentially get one of those guys at the top 5 picks and get something for Kirk Cousins.
But the problem I have with this is when I hear people say the word tank and they have nothing to play for, all that is not true. These guys have contracts. These guys have incentives. These guys make money off of yards. These guys make money off of...
They do. This is true.
This and that. And as a grown man, if you have been competitive and you tell me that you're going to let another man over on the other side just kick your ass, that ain't going to happen. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you have any competitive nature, regardless if you're 0-16 or 1-15 or you're 15-0, you want to beat the other guy. You just do. You have a competitive nature that you want to beat that guy.
Now,
so tanking is not a thing. Whoever says that. Now, the owners might want you to do it, but that doesn't mean that you're going to do it.
And that's where I think it starts. And that's where I think it ends. I'm not in those locker rooms. I wish I could be a fly on the wall.
100%.
I don't think the players are like, hey, man, let's just lose out. I think its morale levels are low. I think the coaching staff is made aware by the owners. This is just assumption.
They're also playing for jobs.
Well, yeah.
Some of these young guys play for jobs.
I think some of these coaching staffs aren't making the best, most optimum play calls because of that. Hey, I saw this guy do this that one time in this play, so let's target him. Well, if we're 1-4, we're 1-5, and we're not in a real rush to win games, I might not make that play call to target that guy.
I mean,
it's
at
just
the end
an
of the
assumption.
day, maybe, but I disagree. I don't think
the players are doing it.
I just think as a coach, you're coaching for your job. I think as a player, and anybody that's in the league has competitiveness. I'm sorry. If you made the league, you have been a competitive human your whole entire life. And if you think that you're just going to let the guy, as a coach, across just beat the brakes off you, that ain't going to happen either.
Yeah, you want to be competitive in this league, but I don't think the players are going to come together and say
look,
tank.
Everyone kept saying the Jets are tanking. They win the last game of the year on a Hail Mary or something stupid or something like that happened, something dumb, and then they didn't get the first pick.
And there were some players that were like, oh. Because, as well as we know, as well as we track it, so do the players. They know. They watch ESPN with us. They understand what's at stake here. They knew that the number 1 overall draft pick was at stake. But it's not something where everybody's on the same page about it. Like you said, these guys want their incentives. They want to play to get better, and they're competitive, and they don't want to lose. Some players are like, man, I'll give minimum effort here. I'll give a Chase Claypool this time around.
Chase Claypool,
and I don't have to worry about it.
He looks like he's headed down like a Chandler Jones band. What's going on?
Yeah, it's not.
People don't even want him in the locker room.
Well, here's his chance. Fresh start with Miami.
Yeah, he had 2 fresh starts.
I
don't know if the Bears.
Yeah, he screwed up both of them. So he's got a 3rd fresh start. 3rd time's a charm. McDaniel seems like he's not going to pass judgment and see if he can prove himself to McDaniels. But
Not Josh.
I don't think that the Vikings will tank. I don't think that's the job here. But I think the job and I think the business side of things will lead to Kirk Cousins getting traded.
We have a little comment that says we weren't trading Brock and Jimmy wasn't traded. We know Jimmy wasn't traded. Jimmy was signed. Trust me, I know. I wasn't happy about the signing, but
yeah.
I would like to talk about who are your top 5 teams in the league, right? In this league, the NFL, who is your top 5 teams?
Number 1, resoundingly, is the San Francisco 49ers.
I don't even think that's a question.
Not even a question. Second will have to be the Philadelphia Eagles. You're undefeated.
Yeah, you're undefeated. You're playing
undefeated.
You're playing good. Those are my two, 100%.
You're not playing 2022 football, but you're playing winning football. That's all you need to do in this league is win.
You beat the other team by more points on the other side.
You're winning.
It don't matter who you're playing.
And I trust me, I don't like to say it, but they're winning, so I have to put them at the 2 spot. Buffalo Bills are gonna. I don't actually think I'm gonna put the Buffalo Bills at 3.
I would not put the Buffalo. I mean, they just went across the pond. They lost to the Jags.
You know what? Give me 1 second because I really want to put the Jaguars at 3.
I don't know if I want to put the. I'm going to put in my 3 slot. I think.
No.
Right. I'm going to put. I'm putting the Chiefs there not because of the way they're playing, but I think the Chiefs have that pedigree of winning. And under Andy Reid, they have probably the best coach in the league. I would take Andy Reid as the best coach in the league, in my opinion. Kyle Shanahan's right there. But the Chiefs know how to win. They've all won. They've been winning since Andy Reid's been there. So the Kansas City Chiefs are 4-1. They've done the same thing. They've won games. Like, they still have Travis Kelce. He wasn't 100% in that game against the Vikings. But to me, Kansas City Chiefs.
You're going to put them in 3?
I'm
going to hit you with it. I'm going to hit you with it.
Dolphins.
No
Dolphins.
Detroit Lions.
Ooh, I do like the
Detroit Lions.
They're playing tough. They're tough.
4-1.
I
4-1, and they beat the Chiefs. So what you got? What you got on me now? What you got on my 40?
That's a good point.
You see what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Come on now.
It was week 1 though. But I like the Detroit Lions also, and they're my 4th team. And the only reason only reason that I don't have the Chiefs below them is just because of, in the past, the Lions have not been very good. The Lions seem to line things up. I do think they're different this year. And the Chiefs just always seem to win. So, with that being said, Dan Campbell has the Detroit Lions playing not just football, playing hard-nosed, tough football. And that's the difference. They've never been that.
Well, I think a really big formula for success in this league outside of sports is chemistry.
100%. No, there's no getting around it.
And it bleeds chemistry in that locker room.
You have to believe in your coach. You have to believe in your teammates. You all got to gel together. It's probably the most important thing, the most overlooked thing in this league that people don't realize.
And they're doing it. I mean,
we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't have all that. But what we do have is, like, you can see it on the field. They like each other. They believe in one another. They believe in Jared Goff. And Jared Goff's playing the best football he's ever played his entire career. There's no getting around it. Jameer Gibbs didn't play. It don't matter. Dave Montgomery's coming, get 30 touches, runs it down.
And they're slowly. I mean, I think
they tried to get Jameson Williams involved a little bit last game
first
too.
Week.
But
first week.
They just want to get him a few touches, try to get his speed out, keep going. Yeah, but I like Sam Laporta. The guy looks like a top 5 tight end in the league.
2 teddies. It's early. It's early.
But he's from tight end U, buddy.
Oh,
you come from tight end U. He comes from Iowa, buddy.
Yeah,
you come from Iowa. Those guys just tend to play different. Him and Kittle. They got like 4 or 5 of them in the league.
I know. They got labs with little tight end babies.
Dude, how is the tight end coach not have an NFL head coaching job? I mean, this guy just breeds tight ends.
He probably wants to stay in his lane.
Studs.
He wants to stay in his lane. That's what he's good at.
If I was a tight end, I'd go to Iowa.
Listen,
they stink.
He got a white picket fence. He got a cornfield in the back of his yard. Nice little 70-inch TV, wife and kids. He don't want to disrupt that.
He don't want that smoke.
He don't want to mess that up.
He don't want that media
I don't want to be big time, baby. I just want to stay where I'm at and do my job.
I just want to breed kids into the league.
Breed tight end babies. That's all I want.
And they're studs.
They are, and I think the Lions are playing great football
Hawkinson,
with this.
All those guys are from Iowa. All these guys are from Iowa. It's wild. It's just wild.
I have to put the Lions at 3. I'll put Kansas City at 4.
Okay.
And then at the 5 spot, if I looked at it correctly,
I'm going to put the Dolphins there because they have earned the right to be there. They have earned the right.
Hold up.
I don't know if they're as good as we think they are, but they have earned the right to be the 5 slot.
Hold up.
You got a different 5 slot.
Hold up. I'm not going there. Not going to do it. Will not put Miami there. And you want to know why I won't?
You want to put the Raiders? You see that defense? It's stifling.
Yeah, I'll put the Raiders at 32.
That's disrespectful.
I am going to throw a little curveball at you. I don't think any of the hometown fans will be upset by this, which I think you know where I'm going.
Jaguars?
Yes.
I like Jaguars. Buddy, I keep saying, I've been saying it since they were what were they 1-2, right? And everyone was freaking out because they got blown out by the Texans. And I told everyone the very first episode, told everyone to relax. I said this team is going to click.
Yeah.
They are going to get, and you're seeing it. They did it against Falcons. They did it against Buffalo. ETN ran the ball great. They had the receivers clicking. They're all getting on the same page. They got Evan Ingram at tight end. These guys the Jaguars are legit.
I just looked at a team, and I guess I got a question for you, and I got a question for the audience.
Uh-oh.
Y'all gonna be mad we didn't put the Dallas Cowboys in the top 5 at all?
Once you get blown out, I picked them. I mean, I sat here in my cowboy hat and my cigar, and I said Cowboys will win the football. And they made
just
me
like that. You
look
did it just
like
like
an
that.
idiot. I look like a stone moron. Thanks, McCarthy, you scrub.
Well, you gotta
make me look
thank
good.
him and Dak Prescott.
I mean,
You don't you
There's
take up
another
for him.
guy.
Don't you
I'm
take
giving up
for
on
him
him.
this
I'm
week.
done with him. Start molding Trey Lance. Let's go. Let's put Trey Lance in the
Thank
game.
you. I told you that last week. You didn't want to. You don't
I'm
want to
done
roll
with
with me.
Dak.
You
I
don't
can't.
wanna roll
I can't
with me.
protect that dude anymore.
Don't
Every time
do
it's
it.
a big game. He just throws the ball over the ground.
Straight to him. Threw it straight to him.
Annoying.
Looked at him in the eye and said, I want you to have this.
His best passes were Jake Ferguson. I love that guy too.
So I don't know if people will be upset that we didn't put the Cowboys in our top 5. I think they don't belong there.
They don't.
Okay? Don't think they belong.
Just because you beat up on the Jets and the Patriots. Buh. We might want to beat up on the Jets. I might want to take 11 guys from Best Bet employees and beat up on the Jets and Patriots.
Well, yeah, with their offense. Yeah. But the defense, don't put me out there. Bobby Boucher. So with that top 5 teams, San Fran, we said yes to.
Oh, no doubt, San Fran.
Philly, 2. We're going to interchange our 3 and 4. I got the Lions at 3, Kansas City at 4. You got Kansas City at 3, Lions at 4.
How about my boy, Brock? You know how I feel about Brock Bauer. You called it last episode, Chris. You would have known that I love Brock Bauer. That man one hands every ball.
What did he do?
What does he do? He does it every week. The guy's an animal. He's going to be the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. He's going to be the best tight end in the league.
3rd overall?
100%. This guy is an absolute stud.
You know what? In order to confirm your projection, I'm going to go visit Mel Kiper Jr.
Oh, God. Well, there's your first mistake. I'd rather Todd McShay. That's my boy. I do like that.
Is there a team in the NFL that would benefit from the talents of Brock Bauer?
Everyone would benefit from the talents of Brock Bowers.
A team that's going to be picking in the top 5.
All of them would benefit from Brock Bowers. I'm going to tell you right now, the Arizona Cardinals had Brock Bowers. They would die to have Brock Bowers.
Okay, all right.
The dude is a tight end wide receiver. I mean, he just never drops the ball.
I noticed that he doesn't have as much size as you would think for a traditional looking tight end.
250, 6'4". What do you want?
Oh, he's 250?
Yes. His arms are as big as your head.
What?
He's an animal.
He doesn't look that big when he runs downfield.
He does tight end sweeps and he does all kinds of wild stuff.
Oh, I see why he's going so high.
Oh, he's an animal.
What does he run in the 40?
I don't have his 40 time. We'll have to wait for the pro day.
He probably has something unofficial out there.
But anyways, we got
All right,
top 5 games of the week. Big game in college this week, though. I'm very excited. Oregon and Washington. A lot of playoff vibes this week. Playoff vibes. It's in Washington. Michael Penix. And I expect a lot of scoring in the football game, man. I don't even know who to pick. Bo Nix has revamped his career in Oregon. Michael Penix has I'm going to take Washington.
This is hurting you.
It is. This is going to be a great football game.
Yeah?
I'm really stoked about it. In Washington, big Pac-12 matchup. I'm only taking the Huskies because it's in Washington. But, man, that Oregon offense is strong with Troy Franklin and freaking Bucky Irvin. And
we
Bo
saw that.
Nix.
I saw it when they played Buffalo, when they played Colorado.
Romo Doozy and Penix, man, those two are studs too. They got a lot of good. There's a lot of good football players in this game.
The offensive stats. I know this much. The offensive stats that Washington is putting up is insane.
No doubt about it.
Insane, like historically insane.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Penix started in Indiana. He was a very good football player in Indiana. I think the transfer to a better program has helped him a ton. And I don't know where he stands on the NFL draft board because he has a weird release, and you'll see it if you watch the game this week. His releases, it just seems it's awkward. It's kind of low. It seems a little slow. It's more of a wind-up kind of deal. It's not even slow. It's like more of a wind-up kind of. It's weird. You have to. I don't even know how to explain it, but very intriguing where he would go in the draft. But how people grade him with his release. But Phillip Rivers also had a weird release. Looks like a shot put in the ball. So whatever. But if you're college football this week, that's the game to tune into. Super stoked about
any
it.
other games that you might take a liking to, or you might want to see the outcome?
Any game that I'm trying to think of what could possibly look at upset special here. I don't really see an upset special this week. I would also like to talk about Miami's head coach.
Oh, I didn't think we were going to go there. Once again, I'm not a college football guy, but that was the blunder heard around the world.
Get a head coaching job when you do stupid stuff like that. There's 40 seconds on the clock. The quarterback takes the ball, runs backwards, falls down. There's 35 seconds on the clock. Game's over. Good night. You run the ball. You fumble the ball. And then with 7 seconds left to Georgia Tech, who doesn't even have a great offense, runs by 3 guys and he's 5 yards down the field in front of everybody. Behind everybody, I'm sorry. The Miami players were in front of him. How is that even a thing? How do you not have 7 guys back there? I don't understand. It had to be one of the worst blunders I've ever seen in the NFL. Or in college
via
football.
A source of a diehard Miami fan, Pedro.
Oh, here we go, Pedro. Oh, I guess a good one.
He says that the call was actually made by Taylor Van Dyke, and that Cristobal is taking the heat for it.
There's no way that
apparently
the quarterback. Why would the quarterback run that play? No way.
I'm just telling you what I was told. Telling you what I heard.
What is Pedro in? He's in the locker room. I didn't know about that. Jesus, I didn't know Pedro had insight.
He's gonna come after you. He's gonna get you for that.
Oh man.
Well, I think that would have been a matchup to look out for. North Carolina and Miami.
Hadn't it not been a loss, I still think it's a good game to watch. North Carolina and Miami. Obviously, Drake May is somebody you need to watch. We're talking about.
Yeah,
NFL
this kid is apparently really nice.
Drake May he's different. He comes from a very pedigreed family of athletes too. When you come from that, man, it just like that's Marvin Harrison. That's why I can't get off of that guy because when you come from the dad like that,
I know you can't. I know you can't get off of it.
I can't, man. I would love for the Raiders to have. If you're a Bears fan and you have a chance to get to 1-2, boy, you are praying to God that you get both those guys.
I think their team would
maybe they should even trade for the third, and they'll just get him and Brock Bowers. Screw it.
That would be really good.
But
those projections obviously will come into play next year. We're just waiting to see kind of how the NFL season plays out with the teams that have very bad records and are in prime position to hold one of those top 5 picks. I think next year's draft is going to be a lot of fun. In terms of quarterbacks, who's out there to get, what a team's needs are, and then players that you just can't pass up on, like you said, Brock Bowers. You just can't pass. Like if he falls, which
he could fall into that 5 to 10 line for sure. I do think he's a top 5 pick, 100%. But it's need, want, and it all depends on those guys.
For example, last year, I understand what happened. I understand the problems that were surrounding him. I understand how bad his pro day was. Allowing Jalen Carter to fall to the Eagles was one of the most. I wanted to call the cops.
But this what bothers me about this is obviously there was all that scrutiny behind is Jalen Carter.
Oh, yeah, we knew.
But at the end of the day, they have to dig in deep, and you have to find out because he's the best player in the draft. He's the most talented guy.
He's the most. So he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Is this a character issue? Is this just something that weird happened? Is there going to be any repercussions of it? What actually happened? And the fact that more teams didn't dig into it drives me insane.
I wanted to call the cops.
The Raiders taking Tyree Wilson over Jalen Carter might be one of the worst picks Tyree Wilson doesn't have a tackle this year. Doesn't even have a tackle.
Who?
Tyree Wilson.
We
took him at 7. Defensive end, supposed to be this great pass rusher.
I don't even know.
He had a foot injury. Doesn't have a tackle.
Yeah, it's not good.
Doesn't even have a tackle.
That's not good.
And we don't even have a D tackle.
So he has the same amount of tackles as me.
Exactly. I might even tackle you on the floor so I get more tackles.
Put it in the book. Put it in the ledger. Put it in the ledger. But it was truly just really quick remark. I just felt like something was wrong when they announced Jalen Carter at 11. I said, this can't happen. How is this happening? A team that has the best roster in the league, which even if they come to a matchup where they'll get tested with the Miami Dolphins in 2 weeks, their defense is just a bunch of killers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the Eagles are no joke. And that's
killers.
That's why they're winning. I mean, they have great defense. Their pass defense has struggled a little bit, but the front, man.
The front defensive line will eat your lunch.
And it has depth, too. That's what's...
They have everybody. They have everybody.
Their backups might be better than most people's starters. Like,
buddy.
I mean, it's wild.
I want you to go and find a play for me. Last week, Eagles versus Rams. They double teamed Jalen Carter. You know what he did? He mushed the offensive lineman so bad he fell to his knees.
He's a grown man.
He's a 330-pound grown man.
Athlete, 330-pound athlete.
It looked like Aaron Donald out there.
I mean, he's got that potential.
That's my point. Yeah, he fell to 11. I wanted to call the FBI. Said y'all need to launch a formal investigation. There's something wrong here.
Cheating.
I wanted to call somebody.
I think the Eagles put it out. The Eagles put all that stuff out.
And then they go and get what, Nolan Smith. They go and get Kelly Ringo.
I mean, they added the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, it's not a bad strategy considering they've always been the best.
On a team that already had great pass rushers, you let go of Javon Hargrave. You're like, oh man, we really lost a good interior lineman. Doesn't matter.
I think it's hilarious. They also traded for DeAndre Swift in that draft, who's also from Georgia. They
is now having what we can say a career year.
One more thing I want to touch on before we move forward. The Cincinnati Bengals. I think they turned the corner. I think Joe Burrow's healthy.
Is it the Bengals or is it just Joe Burrow being healthy?
I think Burrow's healthy, and they did it. People don't remember this, but they were 2-3 last year too before they ended up dominating winning the division.
They did.
And they're 2-3 this year, and it was at Game 5 that they turned the corner.
History is doomed to repeat
I think
itself.
they went and they beat Dallas in Dallas. Woo. In Week 5, they went in Arizona. They beat Arizona, and it just looks like it's all happening again. They didn't have T. Higgins. I think Jamar Chase coming out party was this week too. He had 15 catches. He was doing things. He couldn't guard it, and that's how Joe Burrow just looks like Joe Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals looks like they've turned that corner. So
they're going to have needed to turn the corner because they have Seahawks, Niners, and Bills back to back to back.
We're going to find out a lot about them
We're going to find out a whole lot about Joey B. We're going to see if you're worth. I mean, I think he's worth $212 million guaranteed dollars. He's been playing out of his mind football. They've always been one play away, year in and year out. He's worth the money. Has he played like he's worth the money this year? No, but we all know that lingering calf issue is kind of the reason why.
Oh, I mean, it's hard to play under a calf. There's no doubt about it. But Joe Burrow didn't want to use that excuse. I don't blame him. He's tough. He wants to play. I love that about him. He's that kind of guy. He's that guy.
Well, we'll see in the next 3 weeks what he can do. All right, do we got anything left?
No, but moving forward, guys. Once again, we're live here at Best Bet St. Aug, man. We're still doing those drawing tickets. Come in. We're giving away a $13,000 package, man. You do not want to miss it. It is a $40 million guaranteed. You can go enjoy your time in Vegas. And if you win the thing and you just want to go to Vegas and just sell your ticket and spend $10K doing whatever you want in Vegas, you can do that too. But if you come in here and you sit down and you just play poker, you earn tickets as the day goes. If you just buy in a tournament, for every entry that you buy in that tournament, you get 2. So once again, just come enjoy yourself and be here that day. You have to be here. Be here that day. Win yourself a $13,000 package. There will be other drawings as well, as we're giving away a $5,000 into the Best Bet main. We're giving away $1,000 awards
and that WPT cabin as well.
The
cruise.
The cruise. We have cruise. We have a main event seat. We have a Vegas trip. We have all kinds of good stuff. This is really. Adonis and I are really getting this thing together, and we're really starting to roll with it. And like I said, we are.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel good with this, man.
We're starting to flank her out. We're starting to get outside of St. Augustine, so we're going to be in Jacksonville sometimes as well. We have talks about maybe even being at the opening day of the Iceman game, which is October 21st.
That'd be great.
Being right out front there, just enjoying it, getting the name out, and enjoying it. So, once again, we're going to start a page. We're going to put where we're going to be and at what times we're going to be. We're going to start doing giveaways. Best Bet has actually given me things to start being able to give away. So that'll be fun also. So once again, we'll get deeper into that next week. But once again, thanks, you guys. Appreciate you listening. We're going to keep grinding this thing out. And I really think that it's starting to go good as we're starting to flow together real well. And everything is going great. And we've had a lot of good feedback also. So we're doing it, and we're not going to quit. We're going to keep grinding because that's what we do.
I like the direction it's heading, and I'm excited. I just like to talk football.
I just love talking sports. I even if nothing happens, I love having fun. I'm enjoying it.
That's why I said this is just great. I love doing it with my time that I have. I mean,
and I like doing it with you, so it's real good. It's real fun. We just joke back and forth and make stupid clips about me, and it's cool.
That just warms my heart so much that you like doing it with me. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, baby.
But I do. Otherwise, I'd be spending my time watching movies or something stupid.
Right,
so.
And why not use our time to something we love?
100%. And, I mean, I'm looking forward to the football year. I get to keep track of it, and I get to look at other teams and be able to see their stats, see how they're progressing, their players.
And then bring your knowledge and tell everybody what's happening out here
and
for the
put it
people
all
that
together.
don't get a chance to look at all this stuff throughout the week. So, once again, we're going to keep rolling. I'm putting together a fantasy segment every week now, too. That's coming next week. A lot of good stuff going on. So keep listening. We're going to keep grinding. And once again, that's it, baby. So y'all have a good day. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
See you next time, guys. Have a great day.